Namenkase, proud to the elections. The central team and running through has to do with anti-corruption measures. You be take it to clamp down on this corruption. Culture says in every human institution, it's always possible to find individuals who try to outwit the system for personal gains and those kind of stuff. In this state, you know, show weakness, and as you begin to throw messy cards to people, say, oh yeah, the better that kind of impression that human beings will always capitalize or seize the opportunity on those weaknesses, and then they will amass wealth. And I'm saying that corruption, cardinal way are not leading up to the elections, you know. The candidates, most of them make key promise. For instance, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Kasaoba, he will set up a committee to investigate or probe into issues of corruption and as a form. And I think that Oba Ora an investigation, and the report has been submitted to the president, and also I forwarded to the Attorney General various investigations also. And now Meti TV who are they are not unfolding. I was very shocked to the extent you see. And me follow media discussion. I follow news, you know. And no crowd there got me off because I think that me and Meti Hay said Meti say yes, you will be a bokrono. I will buy more because my culture say human beings whenever those opportunities exist, people will seize. But you see, the systemic weakness are always people are able to exploit, you know. We don't look at those things. I remember in 2016, President Mahama Aircore, some people were caught offense the national service. Emma Yakase Omo Afasika president or da Amomutia there was a weakness that was exploited. But nobody looked at the weakness. And we focus on the individuals and then we went after them. 1 year, 2 years after, what is scandalous CNC or national service? Sure. They exploited the place for almost 8 good years. The amount of money involved this time around is so huge and so massive. I try to say, we are always interested in when the free but the weaknesses that are so endemic and so pervasive in our administrative sector, that weaknesses, you know. And then I warranty the extent of this gentleman. Say if the fact presented by Attorney General is anything to go by. In the first place, I doubt if he's smart because crime is a very sophisticated and complex enterprises. My culture say if you are not wise, you can attempt, but you will not be successful. Because over the world, I committed crime, I try why successful. It taking long time and promote you. They are all smart guys, but who had a manner with which I pull this particular thing out. Clearly you could see that this is a guy, he just got opportunity. But being smart, I don't see how he's smart because Niaman Oyen was so glaring to the extent that you can't just be moving money from one account to another when you know that there will always be a paper trail. You understand? And to the extent that you see, Obia go into office and now any way they try to shield their family from whatever that you do. But to bring your wife on board, you know what you're doing is some kind of a criminal enterprise. Bring in your wife alone, so bring a lot of way. But remember, the most important thing they said, this whole thing will not be a circus in the media. Attorney General Babam for a budget, you know, the most important thing has to do with say indeed the evidence that are available will stand the test of prosecution at the law court. The evidence will be hard enough. Say you bet me achieve your first conviction. A bit me serve as a deterrent for a man for because in the political arena there are a lot of people there are a lot who have got in the dream is to go and amass wealth to themselves because they know that the system is so weak that you can easily exploit. But as a state we need to institute measures that will deter people from such engagement. Now you catch up and say mine na hopa so far or mine bibia there will be consequences. And we see a number of people who are just trooping into the political arena. All because there are people who could have become medical doctors, there are those who could have become nurses. But what's not say, yes, because if you are able to come into the political space, now you are able to make friends, those allies in those baby. The last time I catch everyone send a bear point to say DC. Now I palm white I could on the majority. Say, what do you know that there is a responsibility that has been imposed on you? it is no time for you to go to church celebrating and so forth. So I think that the mentality and the
mindset
yeah, the core abai mu say your opportunity position the amount no juicy and na juicy. Now whether it is juicy or not, what is your problem about those things? But you see, and the central way air driver politics in this particular country. So I like the move by the Attorney General, and I'm hoping that this particular thing will not just be your friends say media circus. Number evidence now when you're standing the test of prosecution our court. Now yet me sending message loud clear to people say avenue no, and yet for people to exploit number a service to the people. Your allegiance must be to the state. And yes, I know some of these things. And I make about the weaknesses that are so endemic in our system. So presentation and Attorney General representing the gentleman could just go into one bank, transfer millions of away from a government account to a private account. So we begin to ask ourselves, your banking system, what are some of the checks in place? Because they knew that those who were signatory to this account. So a Bank of Ghana need to come out with measures that such big and huge transfers, at least they will go through some kind of, checks. Who said these are legitimate monies that are being moved around. And the guy could also pull money out of his account to go and buy the check $1 million to buy 27 estate houses. So, there is no serious country around the world and one bit may pull $1 million from account to go and pay cash for that particular thing without a crazy financial intelligence alert. So actually say some of these things are happening, and it's easy. You see, everybody is going to real estate. Because you don't need to use any account in those kind of things. So whenever so not a dependent millions of dollars and we are putting up buildings and some of these things are things that there are lessons to learn rather than fixating on the political aspect of it. Me, I'm so worried because I think the weaknesses that these people have exploited. We need to build bridges. The last time I met a gentleman, not many didn't come out, but those who do, almost for the when you do those things and don't think that you are smart, because those things they know, because as soon as money moves from the United States to Ghana going through the banking system, there is always a paper trail. But you see, America, they have this mindset of checking whether those things are being moved by syndicate or just an individual. So you better follow just to know the extent of what you're doing and the very people who are involved. So when those monies are going through now, they may not even pay key attention to, but they are looking at the people who are involved. It could take about 10 years and some are more active on some of these things, you understand? So you might not think somewhere and say oh, mayor or you, because the system is such that they can monitor everything. And for me, that is some of the things that we need to do, sir. Payment, monies, and those transactions that goes on in this particular country, there must be measures are able to put in place just to ensure, sir, every huge money be a move from anywhere be there is a paper trail, not just paper. Number institutions will follow. Now, branching your quiet the birthday. About the following day, your friends say,
using accounts and then
what to have a casa it makes sense, but it makes sense to the stance at least. But the huge sums of money being moved, there is the need for some investigation to be conducted to ascertain the source of this funding, just to know that requisite tax cry yes on some of these things is done. It's just a routine kind of something that you do. So if these measures, yet to be put in place, for me, we will be able to stop some of these thievery. And unlike the attorney, your friends and the Auditor General report, yet Tanase, Mamma for Bokron, the Auditor General will move in and then submit a huge book, not that young kind. That book, 1 year. So we don't learn. That is my problem, because for me, Auditor General report 1, 2, 3, you know the nature of crime. Then government will make measures to ensure that at the institutional level, we put in these auditors so that they will be on the ground checking as the thing happens. Now you allow them to, dissipate all the resources. At the end of the day, you put it in the book. How much are we able to recoup after all these things? You understand? So I think that we are so much interested in the politics and the noise and the individuals involved and so forth. And now me said that me monitor media space. I want all the big platforms, small platforms. Adu Boahen, but the point he exploited, nobody talk about it. But there is systemic weakness. I just say, even the Pope who cry new opportunity, nani pancha, no, human beings that is always seize an opportunity. So as a state, you make sure that those opportunities don't exist. And even where they exist, there are punitive consequences. Can you go to China and say, Makofa or Maizika? Or Maizika free top from what the consequences are so overbearing to the sense that your entire family will be in the picture and you wouldn't want that. And for me, these are some of the things that I say, now you're making sure say corruption inside the President Kufuor can do stuff and should become your friend saying high risk venture. A very high risk venture. Who venture now when himself who peer everybody, including your family, your dignity, everything into it. You're blacklisted forever and ever. You can't even go into government anymore. But Enam said those who are perceived, there is this possibility so also in the someday, or back getting into that particular arena, those measures, we are unwilling to apply. But at the end of the day, the average and the ordinary Ghanaian, you have the vote, empower people to go into politics, to go into governance, with the thinking, so they will go and pull our interest. We are rather building rich people, and the political arena is breeding criminals. So I know the day, there is that wide divide between we the citizens. Ghanaian, go back to 1990. Now check it. You can the population census as a force, and wealth assessment. Now bisa Nipado was saying, and move through the ladder to become because the whole governance sector and make you more. You can't. You understand? Oko Parliament na fence saying with the budget the focus is always on GDP. Man can just say GDP. Simon Chris not or the concept in buying. It's an old concept. You deal with the numbers, but then you move to the stance that people are using the human development index because they're not focused on literacy, or friends, or lifespan, or education. So they go deeper into personal development. But in our discussions, what is be good about that? What we need to be in But the GDP now come as the multinational companies in this country, MTN, Telecel, whatever, they come in with big money. Or move forward, they move everything. We don't even have laws that say we are multinational now, but a certain percentage of your profit should be retained in Ghana, maybe for 5 years. When the money stays, it creates business. I'm Quabontin could be a Jumo, Ghana, new Quabontin, they are sorry, there are Ghanaians, sorry, US, South Africa, and so forth. Where South Africans are coming here, opening shop right now. Sorry. We export churches. We are not serious. So I think we need to be very, very, very smart. To change the destiny of this country, but some of these petty things are a woman say yes, and well, when other countries started, it was even worse. The last time I was telling you about France, when France started, America was the same thing. They started building gradually, but people made sacrifices and make sure the rules of engagement will be loud and clear to everybody. Allegiance is to the state, is to the constitution, and to the flag of this country, not to Nipa or appointee or Nasa. But in recent times, allegiance is always to Nipa. So in a situation where Nema air call wrong, how many people bold enough and say Nema call wrong? I know that the Nipa or Tisrano Crano, we may end up misleading him into the gutters. I know the day of minor destiny and echo. So for me, the Adu Boahen case, is a classic case for us. We need to make sure all the weaknesses now, must always be factored into our solution. I deal with the C and my branch in it mean all create account, all transfers can and then as for all transfers can a quota. These paper trade actually the weaknesses in our system. How are we weaving solutions to address some of these things? Nobody is talking about these things. So I think it's not just politics. We need to move beyond that and ensure we institute measures and these corruption cases is not going to end up. In the next 5 years, you better be a credit chain winning as a forum. So it means that we are not learning, you understand? So measures when they go they are making sure some of these things. And for me, other prosecutorial institutions as well, like the AG, the special prosecutor, and other way, we also need to strengthen them just to ensure they are always ready to ensure the wheels of justice are grinding slowly. But in some of these instances, shifts addressing some of these things, we also try to build public confidence in because the last 8 years under President Akufo-Addo, it got to a time na Ghana for majority of the people are folded arms watching government from a distance as if they are part of it because but time now it's not the president as a people. So always, that kind of connection must be there. That is why I always employ the young people say take vested interest in politics. Politics is an arena for few people in fancy coat or than a curb. But you see, we are so politics, you have equal stake just like a company. Equal stake, take vested interest, be very vocal, very critical, make sure say everything that is going on, we are part of it. And yes, I now for do thinking say we are the future generation. I mean, say you cannot be a future generation, a future leader when you don't have today. Somebody will mortgage today, somebody will waste today, and use the future to pay for today.
Exactly.
We need to be up and doing and make sure say some of these things, we address them. And I think say corruption is one of the things that as we beat the national signals blue. That's it would be pulling this kind of corruption. You can imagine what other agencies what happened there and the kind of measures anti-corruption measures that you put in place just to ensure that we stop all these things. So I think that we need to move in and make sure that we do proper audit and make sure that ordinary sabo my music not there, you don't go scot free. That would be a lesson.
All right. I think okay, quick one. Yancy way and few. Yeah, sure, Pacho.